Do you want to become better at editing your text files and navigating your commit history in Xcode? In this video, we're going to learn all about different editing shortcuts that can help you be more productive as an iPhone developer. Hey, what's up? It's Paul Solt from Super Easy Apps. And if you want to get access to any of these keyboard shortcuts about text editing in Xcode, moving lines of code around, or doing any kind of version control stuff, hit the link down below and you can get access to the PDF that you see above me. So this is a PDF you can print out to give you some of those editing keyboard shortcuts and things that are just going to make you a more productive developer. And I've got 4 different videos on this topic. So I've got some related keyboard shortcuts in this PDF. So you can get all of the PDFs, all 53 or so keyboard shortcuts in one thing that you can hang on your wall. Thanks for watching, and let's dive right into the content. Get started with some Xcode editing shortcuts. A lot of these I use all the time, so I want to show them. Some of them I'm trying to learn, so I'm teaching you them so that I can remember them a little bit better. So let's get into it. First off, we're going to talk about editing. In this, we're going to start and we're going to talk about showing completion. So a lot of times when you're editing these different files, so let's say I'm working on my store and I need to call something on my store, but I get distracted or I get interrupted. If I come back to the file and I go to append in Vim mode, I press A, I want to see all the completions that the store has. To get those, I'm going to do Control Spacebar, and that's going to allow me to see those completions. Now, in this case, I don't have the period yet, so it's not suggesting a method, so I need to write that. And I hit Escape again, and we, again, do the append. Let's try this one more time. If I do Control Spacebar, it's now going to show me the different completions that I can go to. So I can get to the is premium, and then I can be like, oh, I need to do some kind of if check and do something if this is a premium version of the app. So that's something that you can do here. A lot of this is going to be a little bit async. So that particular case, I'm probably going to need to have some special logic, but that's how we can use our different completions. Cool. All right, so next up, we are going to talk about re-indenting. So if you're working on a code file, and we had some code files that had different indentation at GoPro, it depends on who wrote the code. Sometimes it was a little bit different, and we generally try to keep indentation the same, but if you have the ability to fix the indentation, I think that's always better to have like a clean setup of indentation. So let's say I move some stuff around here. How can we re-indent all this code? Well, we can select it all, and then we can do Control I, and that's going to re-indent everything for us. It's going to fix any of those things that we had that were incorrectly indented, and now we've got everything good to go. So you might want to do just one commit on this and just fix all those things so that you're not having tons of different indentation commits, changes all in one commit. Next up, shifting left and right. Now, I just did this to highlight the fixing the indentation, but if you select any of these files, you can shift them left and right with the keyboard shortcut Command left bracket or Command right bracket. So these 2 commands are going to allow you to switch between those 2 things. You can select all of the files, all of the lines of code in a file, and you can run this backwards and forwards, or it can just be a single selection that you make either with the mouse or in Vim mode. You can shift things back and forth. Typically, when I want to share code to like Keynote, I can just shift it all the way back, copy and paste it over to Keynote, and it will keep the color formatting. So that's one pro tip for shifting left and right. Next up, we've got move lines up. Let's say I want to reorganize some of these code files, and I want the application did become active to be above the setup dependencies. So if we were to select all of these and then do this Command Option and then the left or right, so this is going to move them up and this is going to move them down. So that is Command Option or Option Command left square bracket, right square bracket. Should probably flip that around in my notes. There we go. So to move up or down, those are what we're going to do. It's Option, Command, left and right square bracket. All right, so we just reviewed what those keyboard shortcuts are. You've got show completions when you're coming back to a file, or if you're in Vim mode, it's super useful to show completions or to hide them. That's going to be the command. Spacebar, re-indenting code, I do all the time. Now, don't confuse this with Command I, which is going to open up instruments, and that's going to take a little bit of time. So you want to make sure you're doing Control I. That's easy to get mixed up on. Shifting left or right or up and down is just using the square bracket, and then you're adding the option modifier if you want it to go upwards instead of left and right. So I use these all the time. Super helpful. I would highly recommend learning all of these keyboard shortcuts. Okay, up next, we've got some things around find and replace. Again, this is super helpful for navigating large code bases where you have tons of different files. So first up is find. Find within a file is just Command F. Just understanding where this is, it's now got this UI up here. If you hit escape, it will close that. So Command F will allow you to find within a file. So if I wanted to find active, I could search for all of the occurrences of active. Command G will actually search the next occurrences. I can see that there's one match up top, and this navigation up top will allow me to switch between them. If I want to find all of the application, we can find all the instances of that. Pressing enter will go forward, and then holding shift and pressing enter will go backwards. So there's a couple different ways to do these different keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so that is find. Now, a lot of times you want to find within the entire project, and so you'll be searching for everything. This is hands down one of the most important keyboard shortcuts to remember in Xcode, and that is find in project. So Command Shift F will open up this and allow you to search for text, symbols, regular expressions, all kinds of different things. It will remember what you last did. So in this case, I last did symbols, but I can switch this back to text, and I can choose containing, matching, or starting. So typically containing, and then the case sensitive thing is right over here on the right side of this. All right, so this dialog over on the left, the find editor, is super helpful. And anytime I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do I need to go for this? This is a great starting point. So if I wanted to search for, let's do the bloom slider, we can find all occurrences of the usage of the bloom slider. So I can see where I do the target selector addition for the UI kit logic, and then I can see the actual logic behind that did change event for that unit slider. So this is super useful if you're searching for something that's a little bit more common. So let's say we're searching for something in my store kit stuff. So I've been working on store kit integration, and let's say we want to search for premium. So I can find all the instances of premium in my project. Sometimes you don't care about certain things. So like these, if I don't need search results, you can just select them and hit delete. And this kind of gives you a to-do list. You can actually turn this into a to-do list of things to investigate if you need to go do stuff. But we can sort of see different things. We could get rid of some of these just by selecting a subset, deleting them. And we still have instances related to this different feature. So this can help you find where something is in your project. So that's find in project. Then we've got find and replace. Let's say we want to find and replace in a single file. So we're going to do, again, this is going to be option command. I mixed this up. I just fix this real quick. I don't know if I was copy pasting. The formatting here is a little bit different. Yeah, okay. So let me just regenerate. All right, so find and replace is going to be option command F. Just to remember that. And so this is going to allow us to find within a single file. So you'll see the UI up here. Instead of being a find, it's because we're adding the option modifier to the command F. So we're doing the alternate, and in this case, we can replace something with something else. So in this case, I could, let's do this manage recipes. So if I copy manage recipes and then I do Option Command F, we can paste manage recipes and we can see all of the occurrences with Command G, or we can use the arrow keys to go through them. And then if we're sort of satisfied with those, we can get rid of this. And this is an easy way to rename something. So we could call this update recipes, and then pressing enter, that's going to update it. And so now we have updated all of those occurrences from manage recipes to update recipes. Now I don't particularly like that usage, so I'm just going to undo those two changes. All right, so that should still compile. Okay, so that is find and replace within a single file. And then we have the same ability across files. So we can find and replace in a project. And in this case, we were looking at is premium. So let's look at is premium. And so here I can see all instances of is premium. And if I wanted to, I could use this option modifier. So Option Shift Command F. This is going to take us into the replace text. So we can replace is premium with something else, is paid subscriber, or something like that. And then we could replace one occurrence. Down here, we have to select it. We should be able to replace one occurrence and continue replacing all of them or replacing them all. Now, I don't particularly want to change all of these, so I'm just going to undo that one and only do it once. But that is how you can get to the find and the replace so that you can do that in your own project. Up next, we have the find selected symbol in project. So sometimes when we're working on something, let's look at, I had an example, but I lost what I wanted to talk about. Something related to this store. Let's just use something in the store. So let us find maybe all occurrences of subscriptions. So if I want to find this particular symbol, so it's not just the text itself, but if I want to find the symbol itself, I'm going to do a Control Shift Command F. And just having my text selected here, that's going to show me all occurrences of subscriptions. If we want to look at lifetime product, we could do the same type of thing. So we would do Control Shift Command F, and that would show me all instances of lifetime product. Which I feel like is not entirely accurate. Oh, do I have two instances of this? That could be confusing. It could be correct. So let's click on this one, Control Shift and then F, and we can see this product here. And this is how I'm determining if it is purchased. So I'm not sure what this one is doing. Cool. So something that I can investigate and fix, that is find selected symbol in project. And then last but not least, we could look at find call hierarchy. So if you're navigating your code file and you come across one of these using the Vim keyboard shortcuts, you can do Control Shift Command H to find the call hierarchy. And I can see all of the instances, all the places where we are calling request products. So here I can see that I'm calling it right as this store is loaded, and then the other instance here is on update. So those are the two instances from call hierarchy, and that is find and replace. So we learned how to find within a single file, find within the project, find and replace within a single file, find and replace in a project, and then find selected symbol in a project to find the unique symbol itself. Sometimes you can discover if it's being used or not. If it's not being used, you can pull it out because it's dead code, like that one property that I seem to have here seems to be kind of a dead property that got changed into the purchased variant. And then there is find call hierarchy, which allows you to see who's calling it. Again, helping you find what code is actually being used, what code is not being used. I use all of these different things when I'm trying to work on a PR that's maybe a bug fix, or I'm trying to track down a problem. This ability to search within the whole project allows you to find tons of occurrences to help you refactor something or find all the problems that you do need to fix when you're tracking down big changes across the project. All right, so last but not least, we're going to talk about version control. And these are different things that I like to use to get to the root cause of different things related to making bug fixes, hot fixes, and just understanding a code base that I don't understand. So the first one is show authors. And this is super helpful. This is like the blame. We can visualize what or who wrote a chunk of code, which is helpful because if there's comments, then you can get history of understanding how that code has changed over time and maybe some insight into where the problem might have originated from that helps you track down what other related files you need to look at. So show authors, I use this a ton. This is going to be Control-Shift-Command-A. It's going to bring up this view. Now, if it's a new file, you're going to have to scroll all the way to the top and there's no commits because it's a brand new file. So there's nothing of value in this one. But if we look at something that's existed for a while, the measure view controller, this has a ton of different commits. I've been modifying it to add in new features. So I've got some uncommitted changes here. I've got changes here. Here's an upgrade to Xcode 8. All kinds of different things. So this just gives me some stuff that I can look at and decide, okay, is this related to what I need to do? And so you can see there's a bunch of different things I can sort of see here. And then on any one of these, if we were to open this in code review, we would be able to see what has changed since then. And then if we click the other button, and then we lost it, somehow I messed that up. Oh, I'm back in the store, so there's no history here. Let's go back here. If we click on any of these, we could also show the commit. And this is useful because then you can see what all changed, what are all the related UI changes and stuff like that to track down some of the problems and understand how that's working. So that's the show authors. The next thing is super useful when you're trying to configure your pull request. And I like to clean mine up as much as possible. And so this lets me know what I've changed. So we made some changes here. Maybe I want to get rid of those changes. But the next change is control and then the backward slash. So control backward slash will show you all of the changes. So I just got rid of that unnecessary change that I didn't need there. And then if we go into this other file, I can look and see this one. So we've got some kind of change there. I was exposing the save functionality. Here we can see there's a ton of different changes in the app delegate. So I can sort of cycle through all of these. I do have the author view open, so I'm going to hide that again by using that keyboard shortcut Control-Command-Shift-A. That's going to get rid of all those noisy lines that are going to be in the way. And we can focus on what has changed. So I do this a lot to review what I have. Down here, I can see, okay, so there's some dead code. Maybe I need to pull out here. I don't even remember what I was trying to do here. I don't think this is fully functional yet. It is just me messing around because I'm trying to understand. This is working with Superwall. So I was trying to understand some weird buggy behavior I was getting, and I was saying, okay, do I need this? So actually, I don't think I need any of this. So I could go ahead and delete this, and I'll just flag it for deletion. I don't want to just do it right now, but I put it to do here. Remove, we purchase through Superwall. Something like that. Okay, so next up, this one, I showed this off in my last video, but I'm going to show it again. This is a compound keyboard shortcut because I don't think there's a keyboard shortcut that does this in one fell swoop, though we could check to see if this is available with the quick actions menu, but I would prefer to just be able to do it just like this. So filter in Navigator allows me to find all of the changed files. When I'm trying to clean up a PR review, I want to, instead of seeing every single file here, I want to limit the set of files that we have. And so we're going to do that with this keyboard shortcut, Option Command J. Now my focus has gone to the bottom left corner, and we'll see that it is blinking down here. If I hit Tab, we now are on this little plus minus, and that is the Show Only Files with Source Control Status button. And if I press spacebar, I can toggle that button. So that is the little trick here. That allows you to quickly see all of the changed files or jump back to the full list. What's kind of cool here is you can disable it and it takes you to wherever that is in the file hierarchy. And then you can turn it off again and find something else. And then if you were to click that, it would take you right to it. So that's helpful to get context if you know there's a related file near the file that you've edited and you want to modify it. And then this is just super helpful for finding all of those changes. And then you can combine this with being able to tab through all of the changes and to sort of see like, okay, this didn't flesh out. Maybe I should just delete this, or I need to refactor some of that logic that I put in the measure view controller into this coffee menu helper file. So that is a super helpful shortcut. That's filter in Navigator. And I don't know if we can get to it from quick actions. So this would be show, what is it called? Source control status. So I don't see it here. Show only. I don't see it in this menu. So the only way that I know to get to it is by filtering in Navigator. Up next, we have show code review. And this will show us a code review instance of the current file that you're in. So if we do Control, Shift, Command, Enter in this file, if it likes us, I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, not Control. Option, Shift, Command, Enter. This is going to bring open that show code review. And so here we get the side-by-side. Now this changed in Xcode 15, I think. The behavior of this whole commit menu and how you can see this view versus not this view. And then I think in here, you can show either inline comparison or side-by-side. I like to see side-by-side because sometimes it's hard for me to see it all together in line because I'm colorblind and the colors don't always work for me in the new editor. I probably could change the colors a little bit, but I haven't played around with that. So this is the show code review. This allows you to go through and you can see, okay, oh, I really don't need this. This initializer is not being called because we're actually using the init from the coder. So I actually probably want to delete this. So let's go ahead and just hit DD or D to delete that. And that is the code review. So now I can sort of see all of the different places that have changed. And then I can use the other keyboard shortcut, Control / to just jump around. And it's like, what is this doing here? I don't know. Let's just delete that. Let's delete that. It looks like indentation change. Looks like I was looking at doing something with the logger. So I might want to clean this up a little bit more. And so I can make all these different decisions as I'm going through this mode. Okay. And the last one is when you're ready. I used to use this first, but Apple changed the way that this commit dialog works, that I don't start with it because I can't get that side-by-side comparison. But I'll show you a trick for working around that issue. So here we can see project changes, package manager changes because I added a Superwall dependency. I can see new files that I've created, and I can sort of select all these different things, jump through all of this. The one thing that doesn't work here that I wish did is the control / only shows you the current file. So you actually have to switch between all of them. So if I go up to my app delegate, there's a bunch of changes here. I can sort of cycle between all of those changes. I don't know a way of going to the next file. So I haven't figured that out yet. It does not auto advance. And then if you do need that side-by-side, the one trick is you double click the file, it will bring it up in the side-by-side so you can see what it was previously and what it is now. So that's super helpful. And then you can go backwards with Control Command back arrow back to your commit dialog, and then you can go to the next file. So if you're done with that file, you can minimize it and we can just focus on this file. This one I probably want to remove unless I'm going to refactor that UI component. So I'd probably take that out. And then this one, there's a ton of changes to support the in-app purchases. So I can just sort of cycle through all of those changes and see what needs to stay and what doesn't need to stay. Once you're done, you're going to have a view of all changes unstaged or staged, and you can write your commit and then either stage all or selectively stage different files. In the past, you used to be able to select multiple files to stage them. That doesn't seem to work. In the last time I tried it, I haven't tried it recently on Xcode 16. So I'm not sure if that's still true, but that's the commit dialog. All right, so that's a little bit about version control, how I like to think. Being able to pinpoint where a change comes from with the show authors is so incredibly helpful. And that allows you to see all of those different changes that are happening in the product. So whether that's your app delegate or not, and then showing the code review is super helpful. So that was the Control Shift Command Enter. So we can hide and show that UI. We can quickly cycle through all the changes. Seeing the author view, I use that all the time when I'm looking at new code that I don't understand, just so that I can start to figure out where everything goes, where it came from. That's where it's so helpful to have commits. So if you can get your team on board with like writing detailed commits, especially for big changes, it can be very helpful. And last but not least, the actual commit dialog, which I use a ton. It has changed and it is good in some aspects, but it's not as keyboard friendly as it used to be. So it does require more mouse interaction. I haven't figured out a way to get around that. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. We learned about editing in Xcode. We learned about find and replace. You learned how to indent code, how to show completions, move lines of code up and down, left and right, and then version control. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, click the like button. I'm going to have another tips and productivity on Xcode 16 for running and testing and debugging. So there's a bunch more keyboard shortcuts. There's a lot to learn, and you're going to learn these if you incorporate them into your workflow. So try out some different keyboard shortcuts. I don't know all of these off the top of my head, but I know most of them, and I'm trying to learn the ones that I don't know. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video on debugging and some keyboard shortcuts related to running your app. Thanks for watching.